Did you feel that you had been handcuffed by a belief that turned out to be totally false?
Yeah, the belief that I have to have millions of dollars to have a successful business.
Right.
Belief because it's pushed on us as entrepreneurs, you have to have $1 million business.
Well, welcome back to the Your Money Habit podcast. In this podcast, we'll be having real conversations that unlock the hidden beliefs keeping you stuck, causing stress, and holding you back financially. Beliefs that you may find are not even true. So, most of us have learned to keep these thoughts buried, not realizing that so many others have silently been struggling as well with the same fears and beliefs and doubts. So, we're going to uncover those beliefs, shine a light on the money mindsets that lead to true freedom and peace around money. So, before we sort of dive in with our guests today, I just wanted to let you know that I first became fascinated with the effect that money had on people and their quality of life when I was a young child, because I think that I believe that a lot of our adverse circumstances is actually being caused by the struggle of money. I'm not sure if I believe that so much anymore, but it fit at the time, right? So, and I think that that is what led me to becoming a spending planner and a bookkeeper, because I think that I thought that if we managed money better, and don't get me wrong, I still do believe it's true to a certain extent, right? um, all profitable companies and countries and stuff do have plans for their money. But one thing I noticed when doing the spending planning and the bookkeeping is there's patterns that people have with money, creating budgets or making business decisions. So that kind of led to me wanting to create this program, which we called Peace with Money, with a rapid change mindset expert, because I wanted to give people a way to understand what was going on internally, because there's a few different aspects to it. So on that note, let's welcome Ida to our episode. And she is a superhero maker, and just in the conversations that I've already had with her, I was actually shocked about how fast she brought me back from. I was basically writing a book that I kind of left on my computer and printed and left around the house for the past 4 or so years. And after just even the two conversations, I think it was, I changed my whole perspective. I don't think that this book looks anything like I intended it to in the beginning, which I'm happy about because I understand more about where I want to go now. And you definitely gave me some different ideas on how this could look, how it could go beyond this stuffy thing that other people have put out there. I kind of want to shake up the ideas a little bit more, you know? So please tell me or let us know what made you become that superhero maker, what it means, and how you found yourself on the path.
Yeah, it started from when I got fired from multiple jobs. It took me so much failure to finally understand that me thinking outside of the box, it could be a bad thing for some companies. These were small businesses, to be honest, family run, or just a small clique of people random, and they all thought very much the same way. And thinking outside of those patterns made me someone that they didn't want to have around.
Mm.
So I realized, okay, after 13 attempts at the job thing, that let me just try finding what it is that inspires me, and let's see what happens. Let's see if I can find more fulfillment in my life, more peace with money. And it was interesting because I prospered, like, collectively with my partner. We prospered as a result of me taking the pressure off myself to, climb some career ladder. And here I am. I'm really enjoying my life. I'm enjoying raising my two daughters who are 7 and 5, and obviously giving them an understanding and respect for money. They do have an allowance, and it's really important to me that they understand about investing and what that means, as opposed to spending money on the next big toy that comes out, and what happens when you invest your money and how it grows. So giving them those values, the value of respecting money and being at peace with it, doesn't mean you don't buy anything you want to buy, but it means being more mindful about how you're spending your money. So we're definitely on that same journey, Amira, in teaching peace and respect around money.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you call yourself a superhero maker, describe what that means.
Yeah, it's just really honoring the fact that I'm creative. I
Mm.
used to run away from that, and I used to think, oh, because I can see these things that no one else can see, it's a disability, or it's like, it's a pathological thing that's unwanted. Now I've embraced it. I'm like, well, I can see things that other people can't see. I can intuit things that are going to happen, and that's not a bad thing. So I can respond. That gives me more time to respond to what's going to happen in the world, because I can sense it coming. And I used to think that was a horrible thing, and that it was like a bit of a crazy thing, because it's, intuition and sensing things and being sensitive. It is so frowned upon in the traditional, corporate setting. Nobody really believes in these things. And yet I can tell you that I have sensed so many things that were going to happen before they actually hit the mainstream. So I could just sense it coming.
It's interesting you say that because we even have words in our language, like in our languages, talking about gut feeling and, you know, um, there's other kind of sayings like that where we're actually, if you study physiology, we actually have these things in our bodies designed to help us navigate the world and use our intuition. And yet, as you say, in a corporate sense, that's kind of frowned upon. But how many people would go, "Oh, I just don't have a good feeling about
Mhm.
this," or after something goes wrong, going, I knew I shouldn't do that, or do you know what I mean? These type
Yeah.
of things.
Yes. And we're taught to ignore it because, there is not, and it's funny because the numbers actually, the numbers come as an aftermath. People sense it
They do.
first, then the numbers follow. So, and everybody's looking at the numbers for indication of what's going to happen in the future. And it's actually,
I know it's kind of the
we're
other way
looking in the
around,
wrong
right?
place.
So where would you say this idea of you feeling that it was not acceptable came from?
Yeah. I think, again, my partner is very numbers focused. So he works in finance, and in the financial industry and in corporate settings, we are looking for evidence before we before we move towards something. The evidence, what is it going to stack up? Is it going to, and no, and some people, some funds managers, and my partner's boutique funds management firm is one of these. They have started to look at the intangibles.
Mm.
So they are also getting a feel. They're sitting face to face with the CEOs and, the C level people, and getting a sense: are these people being truthful? Are they being authentic? Is there something they're hiding? What might the culture be like? What's the turnover in this workplace? So they're starting to take that into account, because those are some great indicators, as for the future prospects of a company, whether the people are happy. Are they staying? Are they leaving?
Well, that's really interesting. I know that I've always been a little bit fascinated with this trading, like day trading and things like that. I do not do it, but mainly that's because everybody, and I've seen workbooks and I know friends who do it and stuff. And essentially, at the end of the day, it is your emotional, um, how you react and respond emotionally that that usually leads to people's demise in this type of thing. And I was like, oh, you know what? I just don't feel myself that I could sort of contain those emotions. And so yeah, I just think it's best not to be there. It's it's definitely a game for other people if they want to go down that path. But yeah, and I think also if you go to say like a financial planner, there's this idea of a risk tolerance as well. And they
Yes.
ask you all of these various questions to know, to see, and it's going to come down emotionally as well, how you could withstand these ups and downs that are going to occur. And therefore, you're willing to take more risk or less risk, which usually equals less return, but you can at least sleep at night, right? So that's kind of really interesting.
And that's actually a very good thing to know about yourself as well, how much risk you can take. And yeah, I know I'm not a risk taker. I'm like I'm a slow growth person, like slow and steady. I'm like a turtle.
It's funny. I just saw a video this morning, actually. It had a turtle. They'd set up a turtle and a rabbit in these two, like it looked like swimming pool type, lanes. And sure enough, the turtle just kept going. And the rabbit just kind of turned around, took a look at this, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a turtle. Like,
I find you know, when I see or I'm providing value to people and people are gathering around and they're also interested in getting in touch with their intuition, I know I'm onto something. I know it's not going to grow rapidly, but I'm very happy with the slow, impact that I'm making. This small is good. Small is not a bad thing.
so as a small business owner, I wanted to ask you what prompted you to go into business?
Yeah, just finding that nobody else wanted me around, to be honest. But then
Really?
also
Nobody wanted you?
having respect for myself and saying I'm not going to put myself through that anymore. I
Yeah.
want I definitely have the tools, resources, the know-how to start my own business. Everything is there for me. The technology is fantastic. It does a lot of the marketing. It does the follow-ups. I can put my trainings online and it looks really nice. There's all these amazing platforms. It's just everything is there. Like it's not like it was even a few years ago. The online platforms, the websites, you know, there's even AI. I know some people see it as a threat, but you can work with it and it generates some really good stuff that you can tweak to fit your personality, your style, the people that are going to come to your business and really benefit from it. So
Yeah,
it's
when you said
all
that
there.
I don't know that AI is a total threat. I don't think you can just use AI as a finished product, so to speak. I think it's more helping you when maybe you're not as techy.
Yeah.
I know that I find it quite helpful in being able to write things as simple as an Instagram caption because
Yeah.
I definitely have more of an analytical brain. And so coming up with a cute thing to write as a caption doesn't work for me. So thank you, ChatGPT.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, I'm creative, but I can also run out of ideas. And it's good to see like what else, because it pulls it from various sources and then you just get more of your mind expands with it. It's good.
Yeah, and then you come up with your own ideas from that point after
Yeah,
you've had a bit of a nudge, so to speak, like a mastermind group or a think tank or something.
that's right. Yes.
So did you find that there was any particular beliefs that you had around being in business, and the financial aspects of that?
Yes. So one that I'm finding hard to leave is this hustle culture, trying to get people to sign up, pushing the fear and greed buttons. And it no longer works because people are now, a lot of the people that I'm talking to are burnt out.
Mm.
So and I know that I get burnt out easily as well. So the mindset is really shifting. It's about, okay, so how do I help people by showing them that what I offer is not going to be a huge commitment, that it's going to be like something really simple and something really like training without really giving them too much to process, making it really very intuitive,
Yeah.
making it simple. That's the next challenge, because everyone is so knowledgeable. There's so much information out there. And my job is to just tell people, hey, come to my training. It's going to be really easy. It's going to actually show you that you know everything yourself, because it does. We know so much at this stage. We've, at least the people that I'm talking to have gone through multiple schools, and there's so much information, but there's not a lot of, I guess, there is a lack of confidence, is what I'm trying to say. So my training is just to get people realize that they have the wisdom within them and the know-how, and just having that confidence that they can do this, and that I'm encouraging and inspiring for them to take that step forward to, sharing their knowledge and their superpowers with the world.
Yeah, and you're right. I think there is a lot of knowledge out there, but it also needs to be organized and followed through in a particular way for you to move from, I know all this stuff, to coming up with a final product.
Yes.
And I think that because of the distractions of all of this stuff we have access to, that's not easy. And so yet you'll see people say, oh, in particular, writing a book. How many people do you know have said for year after year, including myself, oh, I've got this book in me. I've got this book. I'd love to write these books. But how many actually come up with here's the book, it's been published,
Yeah.
here's the product.
Yeah. It all comes down to having written several books and, put out some creative projects. It all comes down to just sort of seeing the value in creating that thing, and that valuing your own creativity, and valuing having that time to put out something brand new out into the world.
Yeah.
Because we are so conditioned that, what we have to say or what we have to present, who are we to do it? And I'm saying, well, who are we to not do it? If it's within us, let's follow through. Let's give ourselves that space to express it and to see it realized out in the world.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know in this aspect, I feel every time I write something, I think, oh, if I finished it up, what if I came up with this other idea? It won't be in there anymore, But I guess that's the whole point of a revised book down the track,
That's right.
So, I just answered my own question. There you go. Thanks. You're already working your magic in the and that wasn't even the intention.
Self-doubt, it is so strong. The criticism, the self-doubt, and we live in a very critical society, and being from Turkey, when I do compare, in Turkey, people are, they're just a lot more go with the flow, and there's just that mentality of, oh, whatever, I'm good enough. And it does cause problems. However, people are a lot more at ease, and they express themselves a lot more freely. And here, it, there's a little bit more fear around, oh, if I said that, would I upset people? What would others think? So I think that really ripples our self-expression.
Because I think that we've always been sort of known as the she'll be right type of people, but I've kind of noticed that too. I don't find that we really are. I feel like this might be an outdated belief that maybe we were like that, but we're not so much anymore.
I believe it was like that, looking at some of the older stuff in Australia, the concept of the larrikin and all of that.
Mm.
Like, it was very much fun and good times, but the reality that I'm living in is still very critical.
I know what you mean. I don't know a lot of she'll be right people. Yeah, just chilling.
Are like organizing everything to the last minute detail.
Absolutely. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there are people out there. If anyone's watching this and you are one of those, just chilling type people, let us know. We'll we'll follow up and find out how you're doing it.
I love planning and organizing, but you can overdo it by worrying about everything, every little thing that might happen. And that really does cripple the self-expression and, ability to finish those creative projects.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes I didn't think that writing a book was an actual creative project, just to do to what it was I wanted to write. But yeah, now I realize it actually comes much easier when you relax. So I have noticed, obviously, that you've been doing a lot of the recommended activities that business owners are meant to do, regularly posting, networking, collaborating, and hosting groups. And so through all of this activity, have you noticed or uncovered any kind of beliefs that have held you back in business?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a funny one because the one that's come up is I've been doing a lot of trying to get people bums in the seats kind of activity. And that sort of backfired on me. Nowadays, maybe that was acceptable when people weren't so busy, but nowadays people's diaries are so full. Everybody's so stressed out that I had to really like relax on that and just rely on, organically running into people or seeing them come up on my feed and then just being a lot more organic about it in a very yeah, encouraging way, saying I see what you're doing, I love what you're doing, would you like to come talk about it? I've got an event coming, would you like to come talk about it a bit more? Just
Yeah.
a lot more mindful and going with their flow as opposed to like, trying to get people to go with my flow because everybody's busy.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it has changed because once upon a time there wasn't so much to do. Now there's stuff all over the place.
Yeah, so it's a challenge, but it's also an invitation to make things a lot more um collaborative and co-create and invite people to really express themselves. So I consciously now keep my events really small. I don't think bigger is better anymore. I'm like 12 people maximum. That's going to be a lot of stories there because all these people are doing amazing things and they're growing their businesses. So just keep it small and yeah, nothing, no mega events from me coming anytime soon.
But would you have said that that's what you believe should happen? It
I
should be these big events?
numbers. I believed, like, I'm like, I've got to get like 30 people at my meetup. And I'm like, no, you know what? I had 6 people at my last meetup, but they were all doing such incredibly interesting things that really filled the space.
Mm. So you're just happy just to have people come up and just communicate with them in a different way.
Yeah, it's not that one to many approach anymore. It's like, we're sort of in a circle and everybody has wisdom and something to share and giving that space to people to share what they're passionate about.
That's interesting because I think there are a lot of people out there. It's like, oh, gotta hustle, gotta hustle, gotta hustle, and it's not going anywhere. And
Yeah.
that is because it's just this shift in how we think now. So, yeah, maybe we need to all rethink that. And maybe it still works in some people's model
Yeah.
of business. Who knows, right? So I have actually heard the same thing from somebody, an influencer that I'm following. And he said he was devastated when he had this course that should have been 200 people in it, and there was like 25. And then he said that that was the moment when he realized, hang on, I need to look at things differently. I'm about to sort of ruin how I feel about Christmas and this beautiful home I have with my family and my new child because I'm stressed that I didn't get the numbers that I wanted to instead of appreciating the actual moment. And for me, that was definitely an eye-opening moment about trying to just kind of go relax. What do you have? Are you okay in this present moment? Do you have everything that you need right now? Then that's going to be enough for right now.
Yeah, appreciating every one person that shows up or just the fact that we're here, just giving back to the simple basic things and being appreciative. That's such a powerful message.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we, need to bring it back a bit more to now instead of this imaginary future that we've conjuring and trying to live there. We need to be here while we're here. Because if you think about it, we don't get a lot of time here. Hopefully, with medical advancements, we will get more, but we've got to be here and connect with the people right now. So I love that you've had that bit of a shift as well, because yeah, I think that's the way it works a bit better now.
Yeah, and I was seeing a lot of people put out these really ambitious vision statements that they're gonna, help 1 million people become business owners. And I realized I'm not putting that pressure on myself. That's a lot of pressure.
Let's leave that to Jack Canfield, who can pull it off.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I'm happy. I've got. I don't really need to make that much money. It enough is enough. Having that mindset that enough, whatever I get is enough, and it's being grateful for it, and investing it in those slow investments that grow steadily over time. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, with the low risk tolerance, that's right. I had this wonderful lady that I've made friends with, the mastermind I'm on. It's called the Grow Rich Mastermind. It's totally free. But essentially one time she came on and she talked about leaving a legacy, and that in 100 years from now, would we sort of have somebody in our family have a photo of us somewhere and think, this is the legacy they left us. And so she talked about not being consumed by this numbers type of thing, but making your content, making your videos, putting them out there, not so that maybe, you're expecting huge numbers and putting that pressure on yourself, but is somebody going to get something from you? It's like if you hadn't had that conversation with me, um, I think it was like 20 minutes or something, just on Zoom. If you hadn't had that conversation with me, then I wouldn't be in that position that I am. And I mean, I'm just one person that may never have heard your message if you hadn't have been brave enough to just, put yourself in front of that, what was it, a boss ladies meetup or something, and have that conversation, which fascinated me. This led to another conversation, and here we are, right? So you just never know. Um, and
Yeah.
incidentally, I had this one conversation with this guy on LinkedIn, and turns out he lived around the corner from me. And he is actually the person that I made the Peace with Money course with. And even though he's moved back overseas now, we're, still working on things, still good friends. And who knew that that one little conversation with that little reach out on LinkedIn could end up creating something like that, And hearing people with their telling me about the things that they've kind of uncovered after going through this sort of content and going, oh, that popped up, that popped up. Okay, let's work through this. So, so on that note, going through that course, which I'll add a link in the description for anyone who's interested in it, did you feel that you had been handcuffed by a belief that turned out to be totally false?
Yeah. The belief that I have to have millions of dollars to have a successful business.
All right.
Belief, because it's pushed on us as entrepreneurs. You have to have $1 million business. And no, like if my living expenses aren't that high, why? Why would I push myself to that limit?
Especially if it's going to cause you a lot of stress. And even I think if it's going to basically stall your progress.
Yeah, it's about the peace. I love that you call it peace with money.
Well,
Because
that's, I've decided to call the book that. It's had about 10 titles so far, but I think it's just going to go with Peace with Money. Let's just leave it. Let's find it. Let's find what our version of peace looks like, because it is probably the biggest issue that we have on the planet.
yeah, yes. Yeah.
And in the previous episode, I talked about how I watched this, interview with James Packer, who is one of the richest men in Australia, and him talking about how he worried about going bankrupt. And then he said bankrupt, not with a house type bankrupt, but bankrupt with nothing. And we're talking about a billionaire who was born to a billionaire. And it just, I don't know, it was like a big smack to me going, hang on a second. We need to be having these conversations, because if he's brave enough to say that, what's everybody else thinking?
Yeah,
You know? And I said, you know what? I really think that I need to stop being so fearful myself, and let's just have these conversations with people so that other people might learn something from these conversations with, a variety of different people in different businesses, no businesses, people just younger, older on their journey. Let's put it out there instead of hiding it all.
yeah, yeah. Have more peace around money because it's a taboo as well. People just shy away from it. And I've definitely had a lot more conversations with my partner who's very good. Like, just want to say, he is somebody who sniffs how companies are going to grow. He's got that intuition, but he would never call it that.
Even though it is, right? Exactly. There's something like, the in the pit of your gut, you just feel something's not quite right. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm sure someone out there in the metaphysical space does have an explanation for it, but we just know that it happens, right? So we have to go with that.
So
Um,
for money, I changed our health fund. I found more suitable places to invest. I was able to talk to him about money. Before I was like, oh, I'm a nobody. I know nothing. And now I can talk to him about money. I'm more at peace.
oh, I love it. That's brilliant. I'm thrilled. So, since, money is such a taboo topic, and that actually was my mission 8 years ago, is to make it less of a taboo topic. So hopefully this is helping me live into that mission, with these conversations. But with so much money, like heaviness around financial topics, I'd like to kind of end this particular episode on a positive note. So, what's one money habit or belief that you're actually proud of?
My ability to be frugal. I love being frugal. I absolutely love it because look, I love wearing nice clothes, but I like them more when I get them from an op shop. Um,
Okay.
I
And I'm guessing you find some really good things, right, at the op shop?
I volunteer at one of them.
Oh, all right. Well, that's kind of like insider information, isn't it?
Exactly. I get the best stuff.
I've got to admit, I have some nice things still years later that I'm not very good in the op shop, I'll admit. But when I go in there with some other people who are good and they point these things out, I'm like, oh, okay. So that's your tip, huh? That's what you're most proud of, being frugal.
And well, it does sort of if you don't buy so many new things and you kind of, buy recycled fashion or whatever, it's a little bit better for everyone, I think.
Yeah, well, we're not creating more stuff, are we?
Yeah,
And I've actually found some beautiful things. There's some of these shops have designer wear
they do.
people have just worn one time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's there anymore. They used to be in Roselle, and I used to go in there, and everyone used to point out all the pink things for my daughter. And I got her some beautiful designer dresses from there that were great prices. So maybe I am okay at that, but just not when it's for myself.
Yeah, yeah. I would encourage you to look for yourself too.
I will take you up on that. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ida. Is there anything that you would like to say that we haven't talked about yet?
Just I'm very grateful that you're doing this work. You are, talking and communicating about, something that's so important that we need to have more conversations about.
Oh, thank you for that. Now, if people want to connect with you, because I really do feel that's a valuable exercise, um, to connect with you. So where is the best place that they can reach you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is my second home. I'm
Okay,
like,
LinkedIn. Well, I'll make sure that we put in the link there so that people can reach you there, and then they can kind of see what you've got available and just have those conversations with you.
amazing. Thank you so much, Amira.
Well, thank you. Before we go, let's see that puppy. Is that a puppy or
Oh, yes, sure is.
Well, here we love our puppies. Oh my gosh, so adorable.
Little Mac. He'll be getting
Oh,
training on Sunday.
so how old is he?
He's 11 weeks.
Oh my goodness, that is too cute.
He's going to be a tiny little Labrador. He's mixed with a Cavalier. So he won't grow very big, which is good.
Oh,
Fun size.
that is so nice. Well, on that note, I do have I started a e-commerce store with pet toys. We named it Little Lives because our little dog Olivia is adorable.
Mm.
And she loves her squeaky toys. So yeah, there it is. I'll even put that down there in case anyone's interested in a little cute pet toy.
We are chewing through chew toys like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, I know they go through them. They do. And sometimes, it's really interesting that we as humans think if we value something and we love it, then we should take care of it. But dogs go, you know what? I love it. I'm gonna just destroy it. Which frustrates us as pet owners, why? And they're like, oh, I'm just going to get to the thing that I want, like, and then destroy it. And then you're going to give me a new one.
They don't hold back. They live fully.
I know. I always think, we should take more of a note of what our dogs are doing and live like them, just in the moment.
Yes, 100%.
Well, thank you again so much for your time, Ida. I hope you that have a lovely day and
Thank
enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll catch up soon.
We will. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.